Hello everybody, it's Zach here from realestatelicensewizard.com. Today we're going over another real estate math practice question. If you're new here in this series, we cover real estate math questions that are likely to show up on the real estate exam. If you have any math questions you want me to cover, you can drop them down below and they may be featured in a future video. Now, if you want to try real estate math questions out yourself, as well as regular real estate exam questions, check out our website, realestatelicensewizard.com. Now, this series is amazing for anyone preparing for the real estate exam, so make sure to click that like button and subscribe. That way you're fully prepared come exam day. Anyways, let's jump into it. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about appreciation. So we were covering depreciation and appreciation this week, and earlier we did depreciations for the first 3 videos. The next 2 we're going to be covering appreciation, and you'll see they're slightly different in terms of the math involved. So let's just jump right into it. All right, so the question says, a lot purchased 25 years ago for $40,000 has appreciated a total of 45% since its purchase. What is it worth today? And it gives us 4 options. So like usual, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to pause here, bust it out, do that math, figure out the answer, hopefully the right one, and then we're going to be talking about it and of course the answer in a little bit. So go ahead and do that right now. All right, so hopefully you came up with your answer on this one. Of course, hopefully you came up with the right answer. So what is our correct answer? Well, it's going to be $58,000. That's right, $58,000. So how did we get that? How did we get this as our answer? Well, to find total appreciation, it's slightly different. So you have to multiply the original price by the total appreciation percentage. So how do we do that? What does that look like? Well, first things first, you have to look at this 45%. That is the total that it appreciated. Now, remember how earlier this week when we were doing depreciation, we took that 100% and then we subtracted? Well, in this case, since we're appreciating in value, we have to add. So we're taking 100% plus 45%. And this is why it was so important to do that step earlier on in this week, so that now you can fully understand these percentages and kind of how they work in our favor. So what's that giving us? That's giving us 145%. Now, why is this important? Well, think about it. When you appreciate in value, you're increasing, which means it has to be over 100%. If you're decreasing, it's under 100%. Because think about it. When you do the math, when you're multiplying by a certain percentage that is under 100%, it's typically, well, no, it's always going to be less than. But if you're multiplying by a percentage that is higher than 100%, just, by using common sense and using, your decimal points and percentages, it's always going to be increasing. And that's why we are adding instead of subtracting in this case. So now that we have this 145%, what are we doing? Well, we're going to be multiplying it by that $40,000. Now you might be sitting there wondering, now hold on. Didn't you divide earlier this week? And yes, that is true. We did divide in the form of depreciation. When we were doing depreciation, we were dividing. When we do appreciation, we multiply. And what is that going to give us? And again, this is 1.45. Carry the decimal over 2 times. That's going to give us this $58,000. So again, that's $40,000 times 1.45 or 145%. And that's going to give us $58,000. Now, just as a recap to explain the differences one more time, because I know, again, this math can be very difficult. Trust me, I completely understand. I know, like me, I'm a big picture guy, so I like to look at things as a whole, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are the same way. So for those of you guys who are like thinking like, well, okay, I'm going to call back about the depreciation problem. How do I remember these? How do I remember the differences between the two? So again, when we're talking about depreciation, you're going to be subtracting and then dividing. Now, when we're talking about appreciating, you're going to be adding and then multiplying. Now, of course, I do have to mention, and I mentioned this on a couple other videos, there are different ways to do these appreciation and depreciation problems. And if you remember paying attention in I think it was grade school, when they talked about how some math is commutative, which means you can do it in different ways. These are problems, certain ones. I should, again, a double, triple asterisk now. Certain problems like this, you can get the answer multiple different ways. And I have to mention that because I guarantee there's a few of you watchers or listeners and whatnot who did it a different way and you got the correct answer. And hey, that is totally fine. I'm just showing you guys what works best for me and what works best for, the students that I've worked with in the past. And if you guys have another way of doing it, great. And I encourage you guys, to definitely try both ways if you're familiar with one way and you want to try another and all that good stuff. But this is definitely a great way of doing it. And yeah, obviously we got the right answer, so it's good enough for us. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for this one. We got one more question this week about appreciation we're going to cover tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have any comments, questions, all that good stuff, leave them down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, this is Zach from realestatelicensewizard.com. Make today magical.